campaign ended with a blast. About 27 days into the campaign, we had made $17,000. And then on the third to last day, we made $15,000. On the second to last day, we made $8,000, and on the last day, we made about $5,000.
No.
Ballpark. So
wait, hang on.
Carry the one.
Oh, math checks out.
All right, math checks out. So yeah, we ended up $44,376. That sounds about right. God, at the end of the campaign, as soon as it closed, I've been so stressed this whole month, and it closed yesterday afternoon. And we were talking over G-Chat, and I was just like, I was just like sitting like this. I felt empty and just hollow. And I was just like, I'm so glad it's done. And Kevin's like, yeah, baby, now the real work begins. And I was just like, motherfucker, I did not want to hear that right now. Let me have a moment.
Finalizing all of the little steps, the tiny little tweaks, making sure all of the copy is right on everything. We may punch up a couple of jokes throughout the game.
Yeah.
And then getting it off to the printer. And then the printer will print it and ship it back to warehouses, and then we'll send them to backers. And the thing that you will realize about Kickstarter is when you send it out to the backers, you will be dealing with Kickstarter backers for another 2 years. All game makers out there right now realize the moment you make a Kickstarter, you will be dealing with more backers for the next 2 years. People will forget that they backed it at all. That they haven't filled out the survey.
They'll put in their address now. They'll move before it gets shipped out. And then why didn't I get my thing? And it's like, well, we didn't know where you were, so how were we?
Right.
Yeah, and that's just the price of playing the Kickstarter game. I definitely think one of the things that I learned is that there's no right way or wrong way to do everything. This is my second time through Kickstarter, and I think just talking with different game makers and everything like that, everybody does it in a different way, whether it's from designing from the mechanical perspective or the experiential perspective or the storytelling perspective, and then choosing whether to go with a publisher or Kickstarter or mailing it out themselves or through warehouses. Like, there are just a million different ways to do all of this, right. And I think different methods and different approaches work for different people or different games. And the next time somebody else makes a game, like the second time somebody makes a game, they might find a better way to do everything for themselves that way. But you just got to kind of figure it out and figure out what serves you and the project best.
How do you guys know when the game is ready?
Oh, that's a terrible question. I mean, it's a great question, but it's a hard question to answer. How do we know when a game is ready? You've actually had a game that was ready, so maybe you should answer this question.
Yeah, we knew Secret Hitler was ready when there weren't any more problems we were trying to solve. There are problems that you're trying to solve, and there are things you're trying to improve, but I am like a big believer in, like, don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good.
How do I know when a game is complete? That is a huge challenge for any game. It never really feels like any game is complete. But when I'm designing a game, it gets to a critical point where I know it's fun and functional. I've done a lot of blind playtesting, and the blind playtesters are really loving the game. That's when I feel like the game is ready to go.
We never know.
We never know when a game is ready.
I think there's kind of a feeling of, there's nothing else I can take out of this design anymore to make it even better. I think that all games can be improved at any stage. But I think knowing when a game is solid enough is when you've reached a point where you can't take anything out of it.
I don't know how I'm going to know when my game is ready. I guess, there's just going to be a time where I'm playtesting it and the rules have coalesced together and I'm not changing them anymore. And I get, 20 playtests of the exact same rule set together, and then it will probably feel done to me at that point. But as long as I have rules in there where oh, this is not quite right, I need to tweak this, it's not going to be done for me.
I think there are a number of different ways to know when a game is done, ready to go. You know, some people will say a game is never done. I get it. I get why people say that, and I get it as a rule of thumb. But I would say that a game can be done. And games, if a game can't be done, then in my opinion, it's too complicated. Simplify. I think The Resistance is done. I think Abandoned Planet is done. When you spend a lot of time and people play it and they ask to play again. In my opinion, that's another really good rule of thumb for when a game is done.
When you think about what you can do on a Friday night, you think about your entertainment options. You could get 4 friends together, you could go to a movie, everybody pays $10, $50. You don't talk to each other, you watch a movie, and then you go home. You could play a video game if everyone has a $500 console online, bought the same game, or you put your money together, you get a random board game, and then you can sit around for months at a time playing the game and having experiences. I think even sometimes it's not about the board game, it's just a reason to get together. And sometimes if the board game, it could just like devolve to just talking and drinking and having a good time. It's really flexible with the group of people that are around. So I think that's why they're really taking off in a time when like it's all the technological advances you could ever want.
My love for tabletop games comes out of a mix between the excitement of finally having some reason to get together with friends in a physical space that we've kind of started losing in, you know, the Twitter and text message age. Like, I love texting my friends, but even more, I love actually sitting around a table and telling stories with each other.
I think there's an important space for tabletop games. It's easy to get disconnected from people, you know, communicating through your phones all the time or playing video games over a network. I think there's still something special about getting together with a group of friends, one location, and playing a game that has, you know, physical, tactile experience. I think it means a lot, and it's something that it doesn't get old. I think it's timeless.